Hello everybody and welcome back to this video. Last week I put up an Instagram story on my profile, which by the way, if you're not following me yet, you should do. It's at @VinceOprah. I put up an Instagram story asking you to ask me any questions that you have around making money as a creative. In this video, I'm going to be answering some of those questions. I got quite a lot of them, so I'm not going to be able to go through all of them, but I will cover some of the best ones. So let's get right into it. All right, so the first question is from Mike, and it is, how did you get video editors for your creative agency? Well, the answer is I mainly got my video editors through my network, to be honest. So I used to do freelance video editing myself. So I was part of a lot of like different groups and Facebook groups and stuff like that, and also just knew some other YouTubers personally. So I hired my first couple of editors through that, like through my network. I also worked with some people from Upwork in the past and had some good experiences there. So there are definitely like a lot of ways you can go about it. Facebook groups, Discord communities, places like this, you can find some really amazing and talented people. But you can also just always go for Upwork, or even Fiverr can work sometimes. Like finding talent is not easy, like especially good talent is very hard to come across. I think to some extent it really is just like a numbers game where you have to interview like 20-30 people, and then you're going to find like a gem that you should try to keep at all costs. Also at this point for me, having a big personal brand helps a ton, because I have a lot of people who want to work with me, and yeah, I can find some amazing talent through my own community as well. All right, next question is from Giano, or I don't know how to say our name, I'm sorry bro. But it is, which is the best software for making money as a creator? To be honest, it really doesn't matter. Like, I'm guessing you're probably talking about editing software. Yeah, like you can use whatever you want to edit. It's not going to affect how much clients are willing to pay for it, as long as the actual work is of high quality, right? So I guess I probably wouldn't use like iMovie or something that's super like base level and you cannot do like more advanced stuff. But probably even in iMovie you could make a $10,000 commercial if the footage and everything is done really well and if you are an expert. It's not so much about what software you use, but more so how you know how to use it. The next question is, how do you give a price to your media that you produce, like for a customer? Sorry, I might not understand the question correctly. I'm thinking you're probably asking like, how do you go about pricing your agency services? Basically, in my opinion, you always want to go and shoot for the higher end of the market. I always been a fan of charging high ticket prices once I actually tried it out and, you know, seen the difference between charging low ticket and high ticket. It's funny because when you charge high ticket prices, you actually attract better quality customers to work with. So they're going to be complaining less to you, they will send things on time, and in general, from my experience, they are going to be less demanding and they are just better to work with the more you charge. There is that, like, it's funny because like the less money you charge for your services, usually the worse the experience is working with the customer or the client. And the more money you charge, it's not only easier to work with them, but also if you are running an agency, well, you can hire better talent, right? So the end result is also going to be better. You're going to be able to spend more time on each client, so you can get your clients better results as well. They are going to be happier. And also, it's funny, but people, when they pay more for the same thing, they perceive it as higher value. So just by you charging more for your products or services, you can actually increase the value of it, because it's all about perception and how the customer feels about buying your thing. So if they paid more money for it and it's a good customer experience, they're gonna feel like they actually bought something that's premium, right? So yeah, in general, like I'm a big fan of charging higher ticket prices, and I usually, in terms of like the actual pricing, it kind of varies. Like I don't want to just give you guys, you know, a blanket statement of like charge $2,000 a month or charge $3,000 a month or whatever it is. I usually like to reverse engineer things and look at like, all right, how much margin am I going to be left with from this client once I, you know, take off my editor costs, once I take off like a manager if you have one, a thumbnail designer, an outreach you know, person, or someone who gets the appointments for you. And like I still want to keep around 60-70% margins ideally. Once all those things come down, you might be you know, only be able to keep like 50-60% if you have your whole agency outsourced. And yeah, it's all gonna depend on your size of the team and so on. But in the beginning, like the less team members you have, generally the higher your margin should be. And as you outsource pretty much every area of your agency, it's okay to let go of some margin, in my opinion, because what I also always look at is just like how much am I actually making per unit of time I invest into to a business, right? So as long as that unit of time increases, or like the value of a unit of time increases, I'm pretty much fine. So yeah, in general, like I always like to go for the higher end of the market, charge higher ticket prices, because I don't see a lot of, you know, like downsides of it, to be honest. All right, next question is, hey man, are you hiring copywriters? And the answer is actually maybe. So I might be interested if you can write some banger emails and build out like some sequences, then hit me up on Instagram, send me some of your work, and I might be interested actually. All right, next question. It's a really good one. How to transition from freelancer to an agency. This has been my experience because I also started as a freelancer and then I built an agency, and then I really went on with my personal brand and built that out and started helping other people as well with agencies. But here's kind of how I went from that initial freelancer stage to becoming a 6-figure creative agency owner. And that was, first of all, raising my prices so I could actually afford to outsource some work. And second of all, once you have raised your prices enough so that you can actually outsource things, you want to focus more on the selling side of things, right? Like you want to outsource the service delivery as soon as possible, and then you want to really like dial in your appointment setting systems. You want to dial in your sales system, because that's really like the heartbeat of the business. Your cash flow, how much revenue you're getting every single month from clients, is the heartbeat of your business. If you stop selling, if you stop getting new customers, your current ones are eventually going to churn and your business is going to die. And this is something I had to experience the hard way. I went through this where I would stop doing outreach and stop getting new clients for a few months. I would lose some clients and then boom, I would be back at square one. So that's something you definitely don't want to do. You want to, as you transition out from the service delivery, you want to keep your eye on selling and making sure, you know, that that is taken care of. And then once you're getting really good at that, then you can outsource that as well, get more clients, hire an operational manager, and so on. All right, next question is, what's the best niche for a short form content agency? Well, to be honest, like I'm not a fan of this question of like, what's the best niche or what's the best offer or what's the best outreach strategy, because it's always just like a lazy question to ask, right? You are ignoring all the basics and fundamentals of business and how markets work, and you're just trying to find a shortcut. Instead of asking this, what I always like to do is I like to look at like, okay, where are my current skill sets, right? Like what do I actually know a lot about? What do I have knowledge on? Then once you know that, then you look at, okay, there is this niche that I know a decent amount about, or that I'm at least interested in, and I would probably want to solve that problem. Okay, what is the actual problem they face? All right, then do I have the skill sets to solve that problem? If I don't, then how can I acquire those skill sets? And then you go about acquiring it. And then you just actually like solve a problem that's painful enough for a niche, and you solve it better than everyone else. And then you get clients, right? So it's like not that complicated. It's not that there is like a secret niche or a secret service or whatever. It's like you need to learn how to find inefficiencies in a market where you can actually come in and solve it better than someone else can. You need to learn how you can make offers that people cannot refuse. You need to learn how you can find leads, how you can do outreach, how you can get people interested in your offer, work the leads and like get people on sales calls, close them, and how you can get people actual results. I love this saying that my good friend Charlie Morgan says is, niches don't get saturated, offers do, right? So offers can change over time. Like even short form content, I don't think it's that good of an offer anymore on its own, because everybody and their mother is doing it, because it's super low barrier to entry, and there's just like, tens of thousands of people who are selling short form content. I think there are better ways to go about selling creative services now than just short form. I think it's the laziest one and the one that will get replaced kind of like the fastest with tools like Opus AI, where you can literally just copy and paste the video in there and it's gonna spit out like 10 different short clips for you. Like you're not really adding a lot of value there. If you go about solving an actual problem, which for example could be like getting appointments for businesses and getting them more customers, right? You could use short form content as a vehicle to get them to that point. You can maybe solve it better for them if you actually build out their landing page as well, if you place some appointment setters in their DMs to actually convert those people who come as views from those shorts that you make for them into actual appointments and sales, right? So you want to actually solve the problem. You want to actually make your clients more money. And as long as you can do that really well, you're going to always have a thriving business, in my opinion. So yeah, I know that's a long-winded question, but like, I'm just not a fan of this question of like, what's the best niche? What's the best offer? What's the best outreach method or outreach message? Because it's like, it's just lazy. You need to go back to the fundamentals and like actually build your knowledge and skill sets so you can get the results that you want. And if you do that, then you can get results in any market pretty much, and in any time, because you are not relying on just like tactics and things that come and go. All right, next question is, do you think freelancing platforms are a good option? Personally, I think like if you don't have any sort of business knowledge, yes, they could be a good option for you, but just expect to be paid like a lot less generally than if you were to get the clients on your own. Not only because they take a cut, but also because usually the type of businesses who come on Fiverr or Upwork, they are looking to get the job done pretty cheaply most of the time. Sure, there are some like people who are really established on Upwork and they make a ton of money there, but that's not the norm. Like 99% of freelancers make not a lot of money on these platforms, right? So just keep that in mind. If you want to actually make a lot of money, you need to learn the business side of things, and you cannot be relying on a platform to get you your clients, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work or you cannot make a lot of money on these platforms, but in general, like I think if you control all the variables yourself and you don't give out control and you become really good at them, then you can make a lot more in the long term. All right, this is going to be the last question for this video. I'm sorry if I couldn't answer your question. I got like 30 plus, but in the next video, I'm going to answer the remaining ones as well. I will do a follow-up for this Q&A. But yeah, next question is, how do you always find new ideas for content creation? There are a couple amazing ways of getting new ideas. One of them is just doing like research on competitors' channels, right? So if you are finding video ideas for a client or yourself, just look at some of the other players in your same industry. I also like to sort their channel by most popular and like seeing what topics did really well for them, because those will probably do well for you as well. Another great one is answerthepublic.com. It's a website where you can literally like put in a topic or a question, and it's gonna also show you what other things people are searching for in that specific industry or niche. And another good one is using things like TubeBuddy or vidIQ, which are like Chrome extensions, and you can find some good YouTube video ideas or content ideas with that as well. Like you can even use AI, ChatGPT, right? Like use the technology, and if you learn how to use these things, they are very, very powerful. So hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. If you did, make sure to drop a like on it. And if you want to work with me potentially one-on-one, then go ahead and click the link below, or don't. I don't really care. But if you are interested, it's there to schedule a one-on-one call with me to see if you could be a good fit. And I will see you guys in the next one.